That's why I believe in devotional goodness, devotional higher frequency. Because higher frequency, yes, could be also a term from grace, from God, from the universe, but I believe that we can also participate, consciously participate in pursue of higher frequencies and pursue of higher consciousness and pursue, not because it's better out there, but because you realize that you can get swooped up by mass, and to be fully present, fully with people connected, and be fully engaging with life, but not get swoopity swoop up by their mindset or their consciousness or their stream of thought and creation. Not because it's wrong, but because it's not us, not me. So the reminder here again, like daily reminder, every day is a reminder because, like I said before, many times, the veil of forgettingness is not really like intentional. It's just something that happens when we get, it's like if we are a drop of water and we're in the ocean, it's very easy to just get with the ocean. But we don't have to be getting with the ocean if this particular ocean is a little bit dirty. You know what I'm saying? Yes, this made total sense. So if I want to be still my cutesy drop in this ocean, but I don't want to be as dirty as, the full ocean, because maybe I want to be a drop in the ocean part where it's much more cleaner, organic. So then I would pursue, obviously, the stream of consciousness that I would prefer. And how do we do it? By reminding ourselves daily that thoughts is also just a stream, and this stream doesn't belong to anyone. And first thing when I wake up, I notice something that it usually has like an attraction of lower frequency. Not always, because sometimes there is grace and you're blessed to wake up already in a good mood. But I'm talking about the days where you're still blessed because you woke up, right? But sometimes there was like a maybe during the night, some sort of consciousness shifting, Sometimes we digest also certain things in the night, or maybe in the dreams or whatever, which is fine. But if it's not like a high frequency dream and a low frequency dream, how do you get out of this rod, even out of your own way, I sometimes speak about getting carried away by the consciousness from others, from the surroundings, but like even your own consciousness during sleep, when you become completely unconscious and maybe a nightmare fantasy, because it's nightmare is just like a brain's fantasy to digest something that it didn't process during the day. That's what I believe. My belief system, my life. So basically, but of course, I encourage people to investigate their own belief system and never just consume someone's belief. Get inspired and investigate for yourself. That's what other people are here to do, not to take it on as your own, but to see what's possible and then investigate for yourself. Because only your true self-experiential confirmation of truth will give you exactly what you were looking for and seeking in truth. Because there is no guru and no teacher in the world that will give you the truth, even if he speaks in the highest frequency of truth. Because if your frequency level right now is not receiving it, you can only get it by self-investigation, I believe. Because a temporary transmission from someone with a higher consciousness level is not permanent state. What can be much more permanent, not forever, but I'm just saying what can be much more Stable is seeking your own highest consciousness level, which is, from my point of view, devotional. Devotional goodness, daily devotional goodness seeking, intentional looking for only goodness in life, in yourself, in others, in life in general. So, first thing in the morning, wake up, and today, for example, I noticed I most probably dreamt something. I don't know what I was dreaming, but I woke up and I had a frequency level of um, it was not positive. Let's put it that way. It was not necessarily negative, but there was something. But there was also, of course, by now enough awareness to wake up and be not immediately asleep again. And I mean asleep in your unconscious pattern, because that's what it is. We wake up from the sleep. And if we not immediately spot this stream of thought that was just generated by your sleep pattern or by a dream or by whatever, what was happening in the movie that you saw the day before or whatever the mind wanted to digest in that night. And then we get caught out up in the stream and fall asleep basically in it. So basically we become conscious and immediately unconscious if we're not aware. That's usually before awakening, but even during the awakening process, that happens a lot because it's a process. It's not an instant thing. It's a process because habits, good habits built over time, and awakening to a better habit is over time. There is not like, oh, now I'm fully conscious and now I walk in life totally different. Even that, your body will need time to digest and to adapt and change the pattern of behavior, because you can't have a higher consciousness level with a with bad habits from before with a lower frequency habits. It's just you would live in two worlds at the same time. That would be, this is possible, I experience it myself, but it's very challenging. So the best way is, of course, living with high frequency habits, means thought habits, emotional habits, behavioral habits, and then also living a very mindful, loving life towards others, towards life itself. But yeah, definitely, um, I lost my thread because I paid attention that someone was watching me from another building from a balcony. Suddenly I was like swooped up. See how quickly we get swooped up? So now I have to just swoop back into my consciousness stream of thought. So yeah, basically when I woke up and I saw the stream of thought that was not necessarily positive, I don't even have to manufacture a positive thought on top. Stillness and space is plenty already just to give goodness, because actually perfection is already without manufacturing anything on top. But sometimes we have to manufacture something on top if the pull from the darkness is so strong. So that's what I experienced before. If I felt like the pull from negative thoughts is so strong, I had to almost like balance it with positive thoughts on top. That's how it was in this body mind situation. I feel like that's what my soul chose to do. But this is not the only solution. There's also just stillness, and stillness, it's not about being. Being is like nervous system, relaxation. But there is a conscious observing of waking up, seeing the stream of thoughts, and being really mindful about not engaging in any of it. And it almost like loses the energy from the thoughts and the stream disappears and suddenly there's just nothing. And nothing means not nothing, but just quietness in the mind, stillness in the mind, but there's not even stillness. I think even stillness is slightly misconstrued because the activity of the mind continues, but it's just not disturbing because it's like a computer that runs quietly in the background. It's still beautiful computer functioning, but it's not anymore like popping up windows. Yes, that's a good analogy to understand. If we wake up when we have disturbing thoughts, or just in general, it doesn't even need to be disturbing, but it has like if it's too many thoughts, too much noise, it's almost like pop-up windows constantly disturbing the flow of the computer, right? So consciously observing these pop-up windows, suddenly they just dissolve, disappear. We can even close them. Like I feel like there is like a conscious closing by just putting an awareness, like looking like not why am I thinking that or what is this thought about, but more like this is a thought, but I prefer no thought. And then they disappear. So then this no thought situation arrives. Some people call it stillness, but it's not stillness because stillness feels almost like you have to make the mind do nothing, and that's misconstrued often. It's just no thought because the processing doesn't need thought. The processing happens by the mind in the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is not noisy. Ah, we got there somehow. You see, it's the morning conversation for alignment. Alignment. Ooh, say it again. Alignment of goodness. We're aligning to goodness. Not that we were bad before, but devotional seeking of more goodness each day. Because I believe if we don't see goodness, there is automatic a pull downwards. Like the pull downwards is so automatic, and it's not because it's bad, but because it's humanity's consciousness level in general. I would say is usually a little bit lower um, than an awakened person would wish for. That's why there is awakening happening because eventually the humanity in general will rise, I believe. But we cannot complain what it is right now. So the only way to contribute to goodness is to manufacture your own goodness. That's the best way to contribute to goodness. Not to go out there and change the world. Yes, we can, but mostly to contribute to goodness by your own goodness stream of consciousness. Positive thinking, positive emotions, and positive actions. Quite simple, actually. But to get there in consistency and accuracy, that was the process. Now it's been 6 years. It's been a process, but I feel like every day gets better and easier. And speaking it into existence, speaking it on camera, speaking it, maybe it will help someone who needed to hear this. Maybe it's just a help for myself, who knows. But yeah, speaking words of inspiration and alignment in the morning, what a great way to start the day. Yes, I can also have a great morning routine with the facial and whatever, like the trending thing to do. Like no, they call it skincare routine. It's like such a trending thing. Um, and I call mine the clean thought or thoughtless morning routine. Cleaning up the computer, closing all the pop-up windows in your brain and running the computer in silence background processing, you know? Yeah, that's what it is. Nothing is changing besides the background running instead of pop-up windows that are so disturbing that you cannot, you know, feel the joy. That's the beauty about it. And the minute we close these pop-up windows, joy, happiness, goodness, relaxation, ooh, all the amazing stuff that arrives by itself, by itself. So we will call this episode pop-up window. No, maybe. Um, yeah, let's close together this pop-up windows for good every morning or for good. I don't know what's possible. I'm not God. I'm just a goodness seeker, devotional goodness seeker. Um, so let's just seek to have less pop-up windows in our consciousness stream and automatically raise the frequency of our being, and that's for also raising a consciousness level of humanity automatically by just existing with our own higher level of consciousness and frequency, very well contributing already. And yeah, and having a blissful day, because without the pop-up windows, bliss is inevitable. It's a byproduct. Joy is a byproduct of a clean stream of consciousness for everyone's in their unique way. What a beautiful day. Thank you very much and peace out, people.